Hey guys, welcome back to another Let's Draw video, and today we're going to be learning about cave art. So cave art are paintings and drawings that were made on cave walls and cave ceilings back in prehistoric times. What makes cave art so special is that it is the oldest documented artwork that has ever been discovered. There might have been art made before cave art, but none of it has survived to the present day. Cave art is super old. Most of them are between 10 to 20,000 years old, and some are even 32,000 years old. I also just saw a news story the other day that they might have discovered a new cave art location where the artwork is 45,000 years old. So it's really cool, and it's one of the first known ways that people used to make art. So why did people make cave art? Well, we don't know for sure because we definitely can't go back and ask, but I think one of the big reasons that people made cave art back then was to communicate with one another. Back in prehistoric times, there was no spoken or written language. A lot of cave art you see has animals, people holding things like spears or arrows, and also handprints. So think about why that might be. Well, the reason is because that's probably mostly what they did back then. Back in prehistoric times, humans had to survive, and the main thing they had to do to survive was get food and go hunting. So that was probably just the thing that they did the most, and that's what they made the most art about. And then let's talk about handprints. There are a lot of handprints that you'll see in caves. I think it could be their way of putting a signature on their artwork. But again, we don't know for sure. They used a lot of symbols and icons in cave art. Symbols are simple pictures or images that are meant to represent something else. A great example of a symbol today is a heart. This looks nothing like a heart in real life, but pretty much everyone that sees it knows it's a heart. And aside from just representing the heart inside your body, it also represents love. There are tons of symbols that was used in cave art, and again, we don't know what they all meant, but they probably did mean something to the people that painted them. The colors they used were mostly reds, oranges, yellows, brown, black, and white, because they used pigments from the earth, so all natural colors. There are around 350 caves that have cave art in them, and most of them are in France and Spain. The most famous cave that has some of the most well-known cave art, and it's very well preserved, is in Lascaux, France. Unfortunately, people can't really visit and go inside these caves because letting people into the caves was actually starting to destroy the art. The artwork has lasted so long in these caves because inside a cave, there's no rain, no sunlight, no dust, no wind. There's nothing to kind of get rid of the art or deteriorate it. When people started to go in, it started to deteriorate the artwork, so they closed most of the caves. But we have plenty of pictures, and there's even some recreations that you can visit that are really similar. For our project today, we are going to be focusing on using symbols to do storytelling and create a story with a cave art inspired drawing. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different symbols that were used in prehistoric times, and you get to pick and choose which ones you want and create your own story with those symbols. So you want to think about a story, and it doesn't have to be a super interesting one. It could be as simple as people farming or hunting or traveling, something like that, and then using those symbols to create it. On mine here, I tried to make it look like there's people maybe in a village and they're farming. So this symbol is like a fence, and here's their horses, and I guess a cow got out over here, and here's the farmer. And then I had some people coming in on the boat, and they're watching and waiting for everyone to get back. So that was my story I made with mine. You guys are gonna make up your own, of course. But you wanna go ahead and get your paper and your coloring supplies. If you have brown paper or even a brown paper bag, you can cut it up. You can use that because that would look like a cave wall, but white paper and lined paper is okay too. And grab some of those earthy colors, so when we get there you can color it in. And once you're ready, we can get started. All right guys, so for your cave art drawing, you're probably not gonna follow my step-by-step so much because you're making your own story. I'm gonna show you guys an image that has a lot of examples of cave art symbols. If you want to pause the video here so that you can add these to your picture, you can. Otherwise, in just a moment, I'm gonna show you how I would make mine if you want to see how I do mine first. Okay, so I'm gonna have some of the basic symbols showing around while I draw, but again, if you want to look at all of them, go back on the video and pause so that you can just look at them and copy the ones you like. So first of all, I want to look at the symbols and think about which ones I like. I really want to do some with animals, and I kind of like the ones of the people that are holding like the arrows and the spears. Even though I don't really like hunting, I think that it would be fun to draw a picture that has to do with the story of hunting. So I think for this one, I'm going to start by drawing some scenery so that people maybe know where it is. So I'm gonna draw some very simple shapes that I think people would look at and know is a mountain. So some of these symbols you're going to make up your own probably, and then some you'll probably copy. So okay, we're in the mountains. And maybe we'll make a little zigzag here. And in my mind, this is going to be like a cliff. Now, something that they would do in prehistoric times was they would chase a herd of animals to the edge of a cliff, which is really sad, but that's just what they did. And they would fall off and then they would have food. So a little sad, but that's what I'm going with. So I'm gonna draw some bulls, and I just look at those basic shapes. It's a rectangle body, little stick legs, and then oval head, and then you need those horns, of course, and a little tail. Maybe the next ones, I'll make it look like they're actually running. So I'm gonna try that again. And I'm gonna have the legs out more. So like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna have one sad one falling off, I know. I think up here, I'm just gonna go back to my scenery. I wanna draw a sun because I like that symbol with the swirl inside and the little lines. Maybe down here, I'll draw one of those people. It's got a circle head, upside down triangle body, and he kind of looks like he's like jumping. And now over here, I'm gonna draw some of the people hunting. I like the guy with the bow and arrow, so I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so now I feel like I have my basic like story drawn out, but now I'm just gonna add a few extra symbols. They can mean something, or you can just put them in because you think they look cool. I like this eye, so I'm gonna draw that. And I guess that's actually kind of it for my drawing. I know I did it really quick, and I encourage you guys to take a little bit more time and think about it, but I just wanted to show you how I might do it. Now when you color it in, I recommend using colors that are like what cave art would have. So oranges, reds, yellow, white, black, and brown. Crayons are probably better than markers or color pencils if you have them, because they just kind of give more of that look that cave art had. However, markers and colored pencils fine, or oil pastels, if you have them, are great for this project because you can kind of smudge them, and that's very similar to what they used back then. So I'm just going to color mine in and kind of notice how I'm scribbling the colors in, trying to make it look like it's maybe smudged and old. Something you can do when you're done if you want is like add little patches that just kind of look like smudged colors on the wall. And then one final thing you can do when you're all done, if you want it to look even older, is take it and crumple it up, which is weird because normally, you know, I don't like people crumpling up their artwork, but in this case, it makes sense with the project. And we have our cave art drawing that we told the story using some symbols and icons. And we also made it look kind of old with some different coloring and texture techniques. So take your time, add whatever designs you want to yours, and just have fun. All right, guys, I hope you had fun making your stories using symbols and cave art. I think it's really fun to try to use symbols to create a story. Even if we don't fully know what they mean, it's kind of cool to think, well, what could they mean? But I hope you guys had fun with this one, and I will see you next time for our next drawing. Bye!